Excuse me. Fake news.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the impressions of the 45th President Donald Trump that made us laugh the hardest.
If you're going to do Star Wars, okay, you have to have real swords. And look at what they're doing with Dune. Look at what they're doing with Dune. I talked to Denis Villeneuve. I said, look at the success of Dune.
Number 10, Sarah Cooper.
I moved on her, actually. You know, she was down in Palm Beach. I moved on her, and I failed. I'll admit it.
As you'll see with a number of entries here, a pattern emerges. An easy key to viral success is to do a Donald Trump impression. To be fair, Cooper doesn't do an impression per se. Rather than imitate Trump's voice, she lip-syncs to recordings of his voice while mimicking his idiosyncratic physical mannerisms.
And I moved on her very heavily. In fact, I took her out furniture shopping.
Cooper never intended to blow up or go viral as a comedian. Prior to her online success, which later led to a deal for a Netflix special co-created by Maya Rudolph and Natasha Lyonne, she worked for Yahoo and Google in various behind-the-scenes capacities. For her innovative approach to comedy, Cooper was named Adweek's Digital Creator of the Year in 2020.
Maybe it's a different one.
Better not be the publicist. No, it's her.
Yeah, that's her, with the gold. I gotta use some Tic Tacs just in case I start kissing her.
Number 9, Jimmy Fallon.
How are you gonna create jobs in this country? I'm just gonna do it.
Although Daryl Hammond has long been known as one of SNL's resident impressionists, with a darn good Trump to boot, Fallon made a name for himself on the show with his repertoire of impersonations. While hosting The Tonight Show, Fallon had to brush up on his Trump once the latter announced his first bid for president in 2015.
Right, but how? By doing it. It just happens. Just by doing it.
Before Hollywood had largely soured on Trump as he began to make more and more incendiary statements, Fallon and Trump participated in a Tonight Show sketch in which the comedian did his impression right to Trump's face. Clearly, the then-future president took it better than he did our next impressionist.
You said that you get Mexico to build a wall at the border. How do you plan to do that? Well, since I'm you, why don't you tell me?
Wrong with you. Bellevue, that's it. I mean, sometimes you just say.
How am I going to get Mexico to build a wall?
While Baldwin's Trump isn't the most accurate, it can be argued that it captures its target's boisterous, braggadocious public persona. Actual impression aside, Baldwin's is definitely the impression that's most gotten under Trump's skin. Number 7, Chris Tucker.
Is Donald Trump your president? Do you consider him your president?
You mean Donald? Are you serious? Believe me. Believe me.
Do you ever just wonder what Rush Hour star Chris Tucker is up to these days? The comedian, whose entire filmography from 1998 to 2006 consisted solely of those films, has kept a relatively low profile over the past few decades, making few media appearances and popping up in even fewer films.
I know Chris Tucker. He's a great comedian, great guy. I like him. It's true. I do like him. I met him.
It's fitting, then, that Tucker made his September 2018 spot on Good Morning Britain about the aforementioned franchise, in which Tucker co-starred with Jackie Chan. Asked by co-host Piers Morgan whether or not he considered then-President Trump to be his president, Tucker diplomatically dodged the question by launching into an impression of him. Probably a good call.
I didn't say much, but I said hello.
Number 6, Austin Nasso.
They call him Matt Friend. He doesn't have any friends, by the way.
That's funny you say that, Donald. You say Matt Friend doesn't have any friends.
It's totally not true. You are a fraud. Virgin.
In order to make it in the impression game, you have to have range. Comedian and impressionist extraordinaire Austin Nasso has gone viral for his Joe Biden impression, poking fun at the president's breathy, aimless monologuing. Those skills lent themselves well to his Trump impression, which is breathy and aimless, but in a different way.
Look at Matt kisses his own mommy on the lips. That's what he does.
He's such a dog, this guy.
Such a dog. He's such a dog, this guy. And look at Matt Friend. He's doing a lot of great work.
Graduating from UCLA with a computer science degree, Nasso worked for Microsoft from 2017 to 2021 before quitting to pursue comedy full-time. Suffice it to say, it worked out. Nasso's Trump impression, which he describes as, quote, always looking like he just bumped into an ex-girlfriend and mocks the former president's trademark bravado, brought him global internet fame.
Like he could be learning about fractions and he's like, that's incredible. So you're saying the numerator is always on the top?
Number 5, Trevor Noah.
I think I do the worst, best Donald Trump impression. That's what I do.
It's hilarious.
So the thing I do is I always think to myself, all you have to do is imagine that somebody has poured like red ants down your back.
When you're covering a politician's goings and doings on a daily basis, chances are you're going to start getting really invested in their lives. Like really invested. Just ask Trevor Noah. Taking over The Daily Show from Jon Stewart in 2015, the comedian turned satirical talk show host quickly gained notoriety for his spot-on, clearly measured and calculated Trump impression.
He's got that thing where he starts speaking so low, so sweet, and then the ants bite, folks. They bite!
Appearing on the syndicated talk show The Real, Noah broke down exactly what it takes to cobble together a pitch-perfect imitation. Noah has also taken the impression, as well as his general thoughts about Trump, outside the studio and into his stand-up. Maybe Noah should just play Trump in a biopic? We're sure the former real estate magnate wouldn't have a problem with that.
I remember how confident he was at the rallies, people cheering for him. He was like, folks, we're gonna build.
Such a nasty guy. You tee that up on the after the mugshot, which is so bad what you're doing. This is MSNBC. They lie like dogs. You can ask them. They lie like dogs.
As we've seen with other examples on this list, former President Trump is not a huge fan of other people's impressions of him. Similarly, Trump reserved ire for viral internet impressionist Matt Friend. The comedian, who blew up on social media for his scarily good impressions, but mainly Trump, performed at the 2024 White House Correspondents' Dinner.
Why is it so quiet? What's happening? It's quieter than Sleepy Joe. Hello, Joe. How are you? Great to see you. We're going to debate, right? That's what they're saying. There's a lot of stars here.
President number 45 posted on Truth Social, the social media platform that he owns, that, quote, the White House Correspondents' Dinner was really bad, and that it, quote, doesn't get much worse than this. Undeterred, the up-and-coming comic has continued to make numerous media appearances touting his Trump impression, among others.
It's totally not true. You are a
Matt
fraud.
Virgin is his name. Why don't you go by Matt Virgin or Matt Loosden?
You are a fraud. You're a fraud.
Matt,
okay, look at yourself. Look at
Matt.
Number 3, Jamie Foxx.
Trump pardoned him. We were speaking
There's
on
a lot of
trying to
great
get
people
him.
on both sides. Lots of great people on both sides. I know Harry, he's a great person. He couldn't vote for me at the time.
It's kind of an understatement to say that Oscar winner Jamie Foxx is a talented mimic. The actor-comedian has often incorporated impressions into his act, from his time on In Living Color to Ray, in which Foxx portrayed R&B and soul legend Ray Charles, in a rare turn of events. Audiences and critics unanimously agreed on Foxx's stunningly lived-in performance. So, having said that, it's probably not a huge shock to learn that Foxx has a really good Trump impression. Appearing on the Rap Radar podcast to promote his 2022 Netflix film Day Shift, Foxx sent Snoop Dogg and the show's other hosts into a Trump-induced laughing fit.
What's your favorite Death Row record, Mr. Trump?
All of them. All of the Death Row records. Don't try to pin me down. I see what he just... Excuse me.
Fake news.
Excuse me.
Fake news.
Fake news.
Number 2, Shane Gillis.
He can't get Biden. He tries. Every debate he's trying so hard, and Biden is just... That's it, though. He tries. It's just, you're a loser. Your son did crack.
This comedian and podcaster has had a turbulent professional journey to success, all buoyed by his shockingly good Donald Trump impression. Recruited to the cast of Saturday Night Live in 2019, Gillis was unceremoniously fired merely 5 days later after clips of him using offensive language, including slurs, resurfaced.
He walks up in front of the entire world at midnight and just goes, Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi is dead. He died like a dog.
Thankfully for his sake, Gillis was able to make amends, even hosting the show during its 49th season. It's too bad, though. The comedian's Trump is spot on in its meanness and absurdity, and it would have been really interesting to see how the show would have utilized it.
Abu. We could hear him crying. I said, Abu, don't cry. Let me tell you something. Abu cried. He cried quite a bit. I wouldn't have cried.
Before we unveil our top pick, here are some honorable mentions. Dana Carvey.
Let me tell you, I'm going to be saying something very soon. We're going to say it, and we're going to do it, and we want to do it, and we're going to say things like you wouldn't believe. And many people say they don't want to see it, they don't like that, but we're going to do it anyway.
John DiDomenico.
You're becoming nasty, and that's not you. That's not you, because I'm a very nice guy. I would never say anything mean or derogatory about anybody.
Godfrey.
He's trying to be a tough guy. I never liked you. Your wife's a crisis.
Jeff Bergman.
Excuse me, but what has Joe Biden done in 47 years? In just 47 months, I've made this country completely unrecognizable.
Daryl Hammond.
You think you're this terrific person, You think you're this, you think you're that.
You know what, Glenn? We did it together.
Speaking of Saturday Night Live, this comedian/actor's Trump impression was so good that it literally got him hired on the show. Following bit parts on TV shows like Better Call Saul, Johnson got his big break during the COVID-19 pandemic. How did the Nashville native accomplish this at such a precarious time for the entertainment industry? By simply walking around the streets of Los Angeles while on break from folding t-shirts and rambling incessantly into his phone camera about pop culture in Donald Trump's inimitable or very imitable fashion. Johnson's Trump is notable for not only its startling vocal accuracy, but also the way that he can apply the former president's famous stream of consciousness style of expressing himself to just about any topic.
If you're going to do Star Wars, okay, you have to have real swords. And look at what they're doing with Dune. Look at what they're doing with Dune. I talked to Denis Villeneuve. I said, look at the success of Dune.
Who does your favorite Trump impression? Let us know in the comments.
They tried to give me the virus. I beat the virus. Why you say this?